How you doing, Cali Crowd? So I've had a lot of questions come my way as to what my training week looks like, what that split looks like Monday through to Sunday, particularly with my goal towards the front lever. So we're gonna dive straight into that today. But first, my hair is looking pretty dappy, so I am going to get a trim. Whew, much better. In terms of what my training week looks like, I did a video actually during the height of the pandemic of what a typical training week looks like for me, and actually a lot has changed since then, even if the fundamental template of the training week has stayed the same. At the time, I was working towards the muscle up. I'd only recently started getting into calisthenics. I had all the time in the world to train because the pandemic meant that we couldn't do much else, but I still operated towards a push, pull, legs split. And now that I'm working towards the front lever, the exercises may have changed, but the days that I actually do have stayed relatively the same. And actually, with that front lever goal, something that I've had to lean on a lot more with a goal this advanced in my training has been something we've spoken about a lot on this channel before, and that is periodization. The idea that our short-term training should build up to a very specific high-tier goal. And when we think about the separate mesocycles that we use typically within our training, the hypertrophy, strength, and skill-based, typically in a calisthenics-focused set of programs, I'm currently within the strength phase. So what that's characterized by is very intense negatives, long isometric holds, very big breaks that I use in order to recover from those sort of low rep heavy pulls. What I'll do is, rather than waffling on, I'll show you what that training week looks like right here. So what this week typically starts with is on a Monday is typically a pull day for me. So what this is front lever focus. So I start with some front lever isometrics, go into some front lever negatives of whatever front lever progression I'm on at the moment. Currently I'm on an advanced tuck, so doing the negatives of those. A lot of isometrics, so bandage assisted front lever holds. Then I go into my weighted pull work, right? So these are 2 to 3 reps of extremely heavy pulls, very close to my 1 rep max. And actually sometimes I even throw in some negatives in there as well, just to really mix it up and make sure that I'm building up that strength that will really translate well to the front lever. On a Tuesday, I don't really have any pushing goals at the moment. I recently completed my pushing goal for the year, which was the handstand push-up. I'm extremely happy with what the handstand push-up has turned into, but I know there is a higher ceiling there. Right now my back arches a little bit more, and that's just because the mechanics of the handstand push-up are easier when you have that banana back. So I'm trying to learn to straighten that up a little bit more as I get more comfortable in pushing in and out of that underbalance that you get with a handstand push-up, and that comes with strength, right? So stronger shoulders means I will have the capacity to do that. So seeing as I'm in a strength phase for my front lever work, what I'm actually doing is maintaining that strength phase for my push sessions as well. So slow, negative, deep handstand push-ups, isometric handstand push-up holds, and actually what I'm throwing in there as well is some tuck planche holds as well. Eventually a goal of mine will be the planche one day, and I've said this a lot, but I really am working up towards that goal. But for now, what that looks like is really cleaning up my tuck planche and making sure that that is comfortable, getting strong shoulders and getting the capacity in order to do that, and actually building up the conditioning in my elbows as well, because we can talk about strength phases when it comes to building up towards skills, but if your connective tissue isn't there, all that means is injury, right? If your connective tissue cannot support the goals that you're looking to achieve, you will have an injury. That's just fact. Then on Wednesday, I typically play football. This is something that I absolutely love doing, and I know for a fact that football is something that conflicts very heavily with a guy who has very aggressive calisthenics goals, right? Heavy legs is not what you want when you are looking to achieve these calisthenics goals. But the fact of the matter is, I could not live without playing football, and so I do that. So Wednesday is my football days, but that means that on Thursdays I am burnt out. I'm absolutely spent. Even if I think I've got a little bit of energy, I know deep down my CNS is like, no, stop. I can't take anymore. So Thursday is a complete rest day where I absolutely do nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's typically the day actually when I film these videos, actually. So I do a lot of work towards Cali To The Crowd, making sure that my edits are clean and I've got the sort of content that I want to produce for the next weeks. Then on Friday, I rinse and repeat the process. So Friday, back at it, pull session, front lever work. Saturday, another push session, and then Sunday, rest. and the week goes on. And I'll typically follow that for about a period of anywhere between 7 to 10 weeks before I switch to the next phase of my training. And you guys only have to look at the other vlogs to know what those sort of training sessions look like. And actually, in and amongst all of that, there are a few things that I focus on outside of this training week that all ladder up towards a higher tier fitness goal. One of those things is working on mobility. So having long-term health goals actually also means staying mobile. So every day in the morning, I do a really light mobility work, whether it's a full body one or something very specific. And another thing I've been really hammering home, particularly since I started working from home a lot more, is walking. Because walking is one of those gifts. It's probably the best proxy for our activity levels. You paid a high evolutionary price to walk, so get your step count up. I always try to get my step count up to about 16k, and the only real reason for that is it's a little bit egotistical. I like having about 500,000 steps a month, and this is one of those things that's quite easy to slot into my life. But the main question I have for you guys is, what is your training week look like? What does it look like? What are you guys working to at the moment? Do you have a particular split that you follow, or do you like going with the flow? I know some people have really busy jobs, so training is just a matter of when they can squeeze stuff in. So let me know how your training is going, and I'll see you guys in the next one.